Let's start with riding horse. Feeling that your knees are slightly further out than your ankles. So the shin is sort of angling down to a point deep in the ground. This openness here in the groin. The legs, as well as strengthening and pushing up, they are also softening and roundening and drawing me down. So there's always the two. Same in the arms. So what it says in the classics, the arms are bent, but they want to straighten. The arms are wanting to do this, and it's my mind that's drawing them round, my yielding mind, my containing mind. Let's just turn. Trying to turn from the hips. So I don't want my shoulders to twist further than the hips. The shoulders stay in line with the hips at the moment. We want to watch, attend what we're doing. So as soon as I turn, especially, I tend to tense up. You can feel it in the shoulders. As soon as you start turning, the shoulders are wanting to rise. And that's just the shoulders mirroring what's happening in the hips. So I have to keep my legs receiving this sinking energy from my sacrum. I have to keep that flowing down my spine and into the legs. And just try and keep the legs relaxed, because the legs are having to work quite hard, not simply to hold me up and turn me, but to keep the hips level. Because the hips, if I just were careless with the legs, the hips would be twisting and turning like this. So I'm going slowly and just trying to keep the hips on an even keel. And that requires a lot of adjusting to happen physically. And I want to feel that evenness as being simply a reflection of the evenness in my mind. My mind is letting go of what I see and it's accepting what I'm coming into. So it's difficult. It's emotionally difficult turning. We're changing our point of view. It's the easiest way to change your point of view is to turn. I'm turning away from what I see towards something new. We just want to register the stress involved in that and try and relax through it. And then just turning like the first warm-up exercise. Feel it's similar to the full and empty exercise. So as I turn this way, this leg is filling, this leg is emptying. So the leg you're turning towards is winding up, and the leg that you're turning away from is unraveling, unwinding. The difficulty is letting go of the leg that's unwinding. We tend to hold on to it, which means that this foot comes off the ground a little bit. And then just back to, but with that same feeling, bringing something up here. If I want to bring it up one leg, then I have to let it out of the other leg. And then just bring your attention to the knees. This knee is trying to sort of do this. It's trying to curve this way, and that draws me round. This knee has to be careful that it doesn't collapse in like this, because it needs to go out like that to start me coming back. So it's the knee going out and making like a semicircle like this that starts me being pulled around. So don't let it collapse in. The turning back really starts in this knee. So this knee goes out and curves around. This is the yielding action of the knee. Yielding to the ground I'm catching hold of. Trying to pull the ground up into me, really. So it means that I come round into the ground. So this knee goes out. And then this knee goes out. When we're moving from side to side without the turning, this is basically how we move. So let's just try a little bit. So I'm in this leg and I just scoop at the ground, don't I? So I have to really know how to stay in this leg. So I want this leg to pull me, and then I slowly move across. So this is the figure of 8 in the legs. I'm going down. This outside edge here, I need it to cut back like this. So this is why I need this feeling that my knee can go further out than my ankle. So I have this angle angling in from my shin. And I want that to establish itself before I'm moving from this leg. So that it really is the action of the empty foot on the ground that's pulling me rather than my full leg that's pushing me. The two sides of the body need a degree of independence because this side of my body doesn't want to let me go. This side of my body wants to claim all of me. And I just want to feel that tug, that sort of contention. So this is the thing of discipline. You're doing something you don't want to do, or something you'd rather not do. So there's always that tug. And so without that tug, you're not really developing spirit. And now what makes it turn is the fact that this knee isn't simply trying to go out like this, it's trying to go around something. So if I imagine there's like a person here, and I just want my knee to just go out and behind their knee. So as I tug it out and come into the leg, it pulls me round this way, and then this one. So this is very important because this is how we move in the form. We move by yielding. My yielding is turning me towards the person, not away from them. It would only turn me away from them if I decided they were dangerous and I needed to continue turning so that they could come through here. But really, my yield is just my attitude to this potential encounter that is going to be friendly, going to make it as potentially positive as possible. So I open up and I invite and I accept and I embrace. I bring that thing around into me. And it's difficult. And now it's just turning like the first warm-up. But with that same feeling in the legs. It's all in the legs, really. We use the upper body to sort of help the legs. But we want to feel it all in the legs. It's all in my attitude to the ground beneath my feet. It's a mindful movement. And we're mindful, it's not so much of what you're doing, but how you're relating to the world beyond you. This is what makes Tai Chi so different from Qigong. Qigong's just about you and your energy. You're exercising to make your energy stronger and more healthy. But in Tai Chi, we're connecting to another person. On the level of energy. Completely different from conversationally. It needs to be something that you practice. You need to practice yielding when you're on your own. This is what's difficult. We think that you can only practice yielding when you're with another person to yield to. But here, I'm just treating that ground beneath my foot as the other. I have to open up to it, and then I have to just reel it in. Bring it back to riding horse. And again, you're making holes, you're making space, you're making roundness, and that is yielding. And now let's just breathe. So use the pursed lip breathing. So the small hole, not just breathing out through the small hole, but breathing in through it as well. We want there to be resistance to everything that we do, to make what we do a little bit more real, to make what we do require a mindful mind, an attentive mind. It's not a lot of resistance. It's enough to feel as though this movement is like stretching a piece of elastic. Real continuity within the movement. Feeling the end of the out breath, really sucking your tummy in. Then you relax that. And then the end of the in breath, you're leaning back as much as you can. And you relax that. And then you pull the tummy right in and almost bend double. All the time relaxing the sacroiliacs. That's felt as the buttocks relaxing. And then just back into riding horse. It's like a heart. Same as this is like a heart. It's like cell division. If you think of a circle, so a figure of 8 is really just a circle, and you've grabbed the two sides of the circle and just twisted it like this, so that it sort of loops over then. So it's basically cell division. It's the same as this. We've got this round circle here, which is splitting into the two. We've got this round circle here, which is splitting into the two. So the figure of 8 is contained within the circle. Just taking the feet off the ground. So how do we do that? We activate the tail. So let's just try just doing a figure of 8, but thinking in terms of pointing the tail. So the hips are tilting. So when we do this exercise, it's quite extreme, the tilt of the hips. But when we step in Tai Chi, it's barely visible, but you feel it. So again, it's yielding. I'm coming into the foot by making a circle like this. And then I come into this foot by making a circle like this. I'm making a hole. I'm not just folding into a point. There's actually a space that I'm creating. And then just stepping. So I want to just go around this foot with my tail. Think of it as the hip. I sort of go back a little bit first and then around like this, leading with the tail, descending down into the foot. And then this foot can come off the ground. It's a strange feeling. It's just so not normal Tai Chi. So it's very much, ooh, I'm sort of melting. Something in me really melts down the leg. And what enables that is just the mobility in my tail. So my tail goes back, down. It really feels like I'm in the ground. I'm not on top of a leg. I've yielded into the leg. I've gone around it. I've yielded to the leg in order to get down beneath it. So again, this yielding is simply opening up and getting behind the thing that you're yielding to. So in Tai Chi, I'm leading the person with this arm. This is really the arm that's doing the yielding. This is the arm that's getting behind the person and just helping them through. Here, my tail is going down and is getting underneath the foot. So I've yielded to my leg. I've incorporated my leg. I've brought my leg into my body because they're not really part of us. They're these slaves that we have underneath us. So I really just want to bring that leg in. So my tail is like an arm that's going down and scooping underneath the foot. And then let's just do that and step then with the foot that's come up and bring the weight into it. I'm yielding to this leg like this. And then I step here. I want to come into this leg by yielding to it. It's exactly the same as here. The yield here is more like it's in the knee. It's not really, it is the tail again, but my knee feels active. I'm going around. My knee is embracing the foot. And that's opening here. And that draws me across. So this is how we move in Tai Chi. Every movement from one leg into another is done in this way. Embrace this foot. I step here. So I have to be disciplined enough to just keep my weight where it is and then just use my spirit to activate this knee. and let that draw me into the hole that I'm creating. Let's just do a little bit of going backwards and forwards. So I open here, bringing the knee round, and that draws me across. It's like a hole. I'm creating a hole for my own body. And then here, this opens up by the knee going out here, and I fall into that hole. You can think of the leg yielding to the ground. You can also think of it as yielding to the upper body, yielding the torso down, so that I'm sort of making a direct connection between the bottom of my spine and the ground beneath the foot, almost like the leg has disappeared. The leg is now the arm that's embracing this system. So I have to really get the knee moving before I allow my body to follow it. Feel the activity. How does it move? The spirit is in this knee and it's going back, and that sucks my body into it. And then that gets the arm up as well into ward off. So if we're doing ward off left, as I open up here, it just naturally brings the arm up as a bent entity, because by the time I'm in the leg is really bent. Try a bit with the other foot forwards. This knee goes out, and it's that draws me across. This knee goes out like this. Now, as you do it, just feel the hand brushing the knee. So I go down here, this knee is going out and around like this. And this hand just follows and brushes the knee here. So in brush, knee and push, the posture in the form that we'll do today, the hand does actually brush the knee. In fact, the hand brushes the knee on a lot of postures. If only in your mind, but you can also make it explicit. Feeling that my hand can really get down as low as my knee. If you can't reach the knee, just brush the inner thigh. You know, we know how sensitive the inner thigh is. It doesn't really want to expose itself. And so this thing of the knees really being out and my thighs looking up at the person is difficult. So this is just giving it a little bit of a helping hand, literally, before you bring your weight into it. So this is the preparation, then this is the movement that's caused by that. So you're sending a definite message to the entity that you're yielding to. It's almost like I'm seducing before my body. I'm having to create the right situation before I come into it. You're like making eyes at someone, telling them with your eyes that you want to make love to them. And then by the time you approach them, they're ready. So here, something in me opens up. Let's try the form. So I'll do it this way because the next posture is going to be facing this way. And then here, just rounding this knee out, using the arm to brush the knee a little bit, if only in your mind, before it sweeps up. Same with this right arm, I brush the knee. And the same here, you can think of this left arm dropping down, brushing the knee. And I come forwards by rounding out the front knee here. So every time you transfer the weight, it's the empty leg that's rounding out that moves you. Here as well, this knee rounds out and that sucks me back. Same thing here, this knee rounds out. This hand, you can think of this hand brushing the knee. And then brush knee and push. So twisting here. And now again, this hand comes down, brushes the knee as it goes out. I step, and then this hand comes down, brushes the knee. Let's try it from the shoulder stroke. Again, I've got this feeling of my tail is really going around, like it's going really the roundabout route. It's going as far out and around as possible to give real space to the foot. So just turning a little bit here, this hand just twists out and then back. What's difficult is just the two arms are doing quite different things. So it's more like a figure of eight. You're like almost like they're doing opposites. Let's try just the right hand to start with. So I reach forwards and then down. This comes up to the side, I step, and then this comes in, digs into the heart, and brings something out to push. It's like I'm just going down the figure of eight and then back up it, and then over the top to push. This hand just turns over a little bit, and then brush knee, comes up, I step, this comes into the heart and scoops something out and slams the person with it. Okay, now let's try the left hand. The left hand comes out and in and stepping. So it's doing exactly what this hand is doing really, but just out of phase. One. And then it comes into the heart. I step, it comes down the leg, brushes the knee, and then just comes up and settles on a cushion of air. Now let's try both together. So this is something that just requires a lot of practice. So you can't expect to get it in 5 minutes, but at least you'll have a record now. Let's try again and add on the play guitar. Adjusting with the back leg, yielding, and attack. So remember, it's just the heel on the ground here. And then just another brush knee and push. Just try the play guitar. So from the first brush knee and push. So adjusting with the back foot, little adjustment step. I'm reaching forwards and I'm just bringing this foot up. If I am here like this, I've got the weight in the front foot. If I want to put my weight in the back foot, I'm going to move backwards to get it there. So what this adjustment is for is so that I can put my weight in the back foot without my body moving backwards, because I'm sort of keeping pressure on the other person. So you just need to have a real sense of your own territory. So I'm sort of reaching forwards a little bit here, catching the person, and then I bring them into my back foot without moving the body backwards. And then I just play guitar. You're almost bringing the foot up heel to heel, not quite. Instantly it's hit the ground, I'm going into it. I almost fall into it. Remember, we used to make a bit of a bang when the foot went down. And this is brush knee again. So all of these postures, really, if you just make the circles much bigger, they will actually reach down to the knee. So here you can think of this being something like that. And you can, I often do it with like really big circles. And just trying to get the big circles deep. So they are trying to go down as far as the knee. So real feeling for the ground, for the proximity to the ground. Okay, let's try it again and put the brush knee on as well. This is going into the heart. This is going into the heart. So I'm just basically just doing a figure of 8 like this. So let's just try it once more from shoulder stroke. White crane spreads wings. Rush, left knee and push. Play guitar. And rush, left knee and push. Now let's just finish. So just bring it up to attention with the toes pointing in. Wiggle your hips a little bit, just to make sure it's really loose. The sacrum is held loosely. So what's making the sacrum heavy and still and just hanging like the lump of lead on the end of the line is just your mind. It's just the quietness in your mind. You're not making calculated adjustments to get it in the right position. You're just relaxing. Bring the hands up again. Imagine you're holding onto a bar here and just release the knees a little bit and just feel this just swing forwards a little bit as the legs bend. And then just bring the hands down and then just try and straighten up inside without pushing the sacrum back. So we really want to feel that play between the legs wanting to straighten rather than needing to straighten because they're hurting, and the legs wanting to bend and get down into the ground. And feel the thymus. The real sense that this center here and this center here are really in line, in vertical alignment. So my heaviness here is buoying up my lightness here.